पिछले सेशन में हमने पोएम शैडवेल के टेक्सचुअल मीनिंग को समझने की कोशिश की थी। अब हम उसको एनालाइज करने की कोशिश करते हैं। मैकफ्लेक नो सिग्निफिकेंस ऑफ द टाइटल, यानी कि टाइटल का मतलब क्या है। द मेन टाइटल मैकफ्लेक्नो इज़ अ रेफरेंस टू रिचर्ड फ्लेक्नो, एन अटरली एवरेज एंड टोटली ऑब्सक्योर पोइट। ऑब्सक्योर यानी कि जिसके बारे में लोग ज़्यादा नहीं जानते हैं। द रेलेवेंस ऑफ होम इज स्टिल अनक्लियर in relation to our author John Dryden or Thomas Shadwell, the poem's actual subject. Mac was an informal term used to informally address a man of an unknown name, which hints subtly at the satirical and lowbrow tone of the poem. But that is about all we have to work with here. The subtitle, however, a satire upon the true blue Protestant poet T.S., gives us a good idea of the poem's content and purpose. यानी कि इसका मेन टाइटल तो हमारे को ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं बता रहा है, लेकिन इसका जो सब टाइटल है उससे हमको आइडिया हो रहा है कि पोएम में क्या है कंटेंट और उसका मकसद क्या है, यानी कि पर्पस. Dryden tells us clearly that the poem is a satire, कि एक व्यंग है, upon somebody named T.S. Who is this mysterious T.S., we might wonder? We know now, though, that the T.S. in question is none other than English poet Thomas Shadwell, arch rival of Dryden. Thomas Shadwell, जो कि ड्राइडन के सबसे बड़े प्रतिद्वंदी थे. This connection is hardly obvious to us now. Shadwell is no Shakespeare, as Dryden makes abundantly clear. But reading the poem back in the 1680s would probably have been able to make the connection. Seeing as this is not the 1680s, however, and nobody knows who Thomas Shadwell is anymore. The setting of the poem. The poem takes place in the realm of nonsense. Realm यानी कि राज्य, nonsense उसका नाम है. It might be tough, या देश भी कह सकते हैं. It might be tough to find this kingdom on a map, but Dryden does it through old King Flecknoe. यानी कि असल में ऐसा कोई देश या राज्य दुनिया के मैप पे नहीं है, लेकिन ड्राइडन ने ये बनाया है. The realm's capital city, where Shadwell is ultimately crowned, Dryden ironically calls Augusta, an impressive sounding regal name that is basically just a stand-in for an especially grungy version of London. Dryden wrote Macflecknoe sometime in the late 1670s. Squarely in the middle of what historians and critics now call the Restoration period. Restoration period मतलब जब राजा को दोबारा से राजगद्दी पर बिठाया था. कुछ सालों के लिए, लगभग 10-15 सालों के लिए इंग्लैंड में प्रजातंत्र स्थापित कर दिया गया था ओलिवर क्रॉमवेल नाम के एक लीडर के द्वारा. लेकिन 1660 में मोनार्की को पुनः स्थापित किया और इसीलिए वो समय रेस्टोरेशन पीरियड कहलाता है. Though this period marks the start of the Enlightenment in British history, by the sounds of Macflecknoe, Dryden certainly did not seem to find his fellow writers to be so enlightened. यानी कि उनके जो समकालिक लेखक थे वो बहुत ज़्यादा बुद्धिमान नहीं थे. Dryden was a pretty important part of the 17th century English Restoration literary scene, and this poem's setting allows him to focus squarely on those goings-ons. In Macflecknoe, he dishes out critique after critique to pretty much all of his notable contemporaries, and especially to the very unfortunate, totally destroyed Thomas Shadwell. The speaker of the poem, narrating in the style of the third person omniscient narrators, यानी कि जो मौजूद हैं लेकिन तृतीयवाचक संज्ञा हैं, दूर से देख रहे हैं सब कुछ of classical epics like the Iliad and the Aeneid, we soon realize that our speaker actually refers to himself in the first person, briefly inserting himself in the story. Check out the lines 25 to 32, ये जो लास्ट की लाइन्स है हमारी पोएम की. This speaker seems earnest at times, earnest यानी कि sincere, and totally tongue in cheek at others. Tongue in cheek है मतलब वो व्यंग्यात्मक तरीके से मुस्कुराते हुए बात कर रहे हैं. But certainly does his part to propagate the opinion that Shadwell is as bad a writer as they come. When talking poetry, it's never a good idea to mix up the author and the speaker. But in this case, we have to say that the speaker is pretty much just John Dryden. He pokes a bit of fun at his own expense, even referring to himself as a dunce, यानी कि मूर्ख. But this dose of self-deprecation occurs for the sake of irony. We get the sense that he does not take himself too seriously, unlike, say, Shadwell. For ultimately, we get the sense that the opinions the speaker shares are Dryden's own. We know he was extremely critical of many of his contemporaries and skeptical. Critical यानी कि आलोचनात्मक, skeptical यानी कि doubtful, जब आपको दूसरों की क्षमता पर संदेह होता है. Of the cheap, unimaginative nature of many of the day's popular poems and plays. Macflecknoe, it seems, is at least in part Dryden's clever way of critiquing, यानी criticizing, यानी कि आलोचना करना, not just Shadwell but the entire English literary scene. इस पोएम के ज़रिए वो न केवल शैडवेल का मजाक उड़ा रहे हैं, बल्कि अपने वक्त के पूरे अंग्रेज़ी भाषा का जो साहित्यिक पटल था उसकी उस पर वो सवाल उठा रहे हैं. फॉर्म एंड मीटर. सटायर, मॉक एपिक इन हेरोइक कपलेट्स, ये इसका फॉर्म है. The poem is written in rhymed couplets of iambic pentameter, who's also known as heroic couplets. View, that's a whole lot of terminology to take in at one. To see what we mean, take a look at lines 11 to 14. And pondering which of all his sons was fit to reign and wage immortal war with wit. ये दो लाइनें हैं जो राइम कर रही हैं, यानी कि दोनों क्या लास्ट शब्द की ध्वनि एक जैसी है. फिर cried it is resolved for nature pleads that he should only rule whom most resembles me. ये भी कपलेट है, दोहा है, दो लाइनों का एक टुकड़ा है जिसमें ही और मी की ध्वनि सेम है. Notice how each line is comprised of 5 iambs. A literary term for an unstressed syllable followed by a stressed syllable. It makes a sound like da, dum. ये ऐसी आवाज़ बनती जब लय बनता है, पहले हल्का और फिर भारी. syllable यानी कि एक ध्वनि. That is the iambic pentameter part. Penta just means 5. Of course, the entire poem is made up of rhymed couplets, which combined with iambic pentameter gives you your classic heroic couplet. This form is typical of epic poetry, but Macflecknoe is no epic. It is a satire, employing the meter, rhyme and elevated language of the epic to make an ironic point. You should call it a mock epic or mock heroic, a unique poetic style that Dryden popularized in English Restoration literature. Mock epic मतलब एक महाकाव्य, लेकिन उसका एक बिगड़ा हुआ रूप. Whatever you call it, you better also call it ground breaking and influential. इसको कुछ भी नाम दें, लेकिन ड्राइडन ने एक नया तरीका इजाद किया था कविता लिखने में, और इसका प्रभाव बहुत आगे तक चला है, इसलिए इन्फ्लुएंशियल. Several decades later, legendary English satirist Alexander Pope would develop this form even further. Realm of nonsense. What is a king without a kingdom? Thomas Shadwell is heir to the throne of the realm of nonsense, and this is the fictional setting in which the poem's action takes place. यानी कि अगर कोई राजा है तो उसका राज्य भी होना चाहिए. यहाँ पर राज्य नॉनसेंस नाम का एक स्थान है. The realm of nonsense is pretty much exactly how you might imagine it to be. It is a place defined by bad poetry, bad taste, and complete squalor. Squalor यानी कि dirt, गंदगी. Only Shadwell, the worst writer in town, is fit to take over. Lucky him. Lines 3 to 6. Dryden ironically invokes Augustus and the Romans in his discussion of these realms of nonsense. Juxtaposing यानी कि दो विपरीत चीज़ों को पास में लाना. The epic classical imagery of kings and empires against the bumbling, foolish Flecknoe and his hapless heir Shadwell. Lines 9 to 12. As king of nonsense, it will be Shadwell who will be charged with the defense of the state. And by defense of the state, we mean wage immortal war with wit. That is just part of the job description. According to Dryden, Shadwell is just about as witless as it gets. Witless यानी कि foolish, मूर्ख, बिल्कुल बुद्धिहीन. Truly a match made in heaven. Mac Flecknoe, dullness and stupidity. In case you missed it, Mac Flecknoe pretty much entirely consists just of John Dryden going really out of his way to call someone stupid. That being said, Dryden offers no shortage of hilarious jokes, jabs, japes, and jests at his arch rival Joseph Shadwell's expense. अब ये जो जितने भी शब्द हैं, जोक्स, जैब्स, जेप्स, जेस, इनका अर्थ आप गूगल पे सर्च करेंगे. ये आपका होमवर्क है. He uses irony, metaphor, puns, and even Shadwell's own writing to cleverly skewer his victim, especially winning this battle of wits. Wallace Shawn's character in The Princess Bride should have taken notes. Lines 15 to 18. All the great epic heroes had a defining characteristic. Unfortunately for Shadwell, his is stupidity. Dryden cleverly uses this mock heroic motif. Motif means pattern या design to make Shadwell appear as inept as possible. Inept यानी कि बिल्कुल नाकाम, कुछ काम नहीं कर सकता, कुछ भी नहीं आता. Lines 21 to 24. Dryden throws in the occasional metaphor. Metaphor means comparison, to add some poetic depth to his complete and total evisceration. Evisceration का मतलब है पेट की आंतें तक बाहर निकाल देना. और वो किसकी कर रहे हैं ऐसे? शैडवेल की. यानी कि शैडवेल को पूरी तरीके से खुर्द बुर्द कर दिया उन्होंने, उनकी रेपुटेशन को धज्जियाँ उड़ा दी. Dryden often describes Shadwell as if he is shrouded, मतलब covered या ढका हुआ, in a perpetual यानी कि constant fog. Fog मतलब धुंध, dense जो कि घनी धुंध है, that not a single ray of intelligence can make it through. Epic imagery. Much of the poem's success depends on Dryden's ironic use of the kind of elevated diction. Elevated यानी कि बहुत उच्च स्तर का, और diction यानी कि शब्दों का उच्चारण या लिखने का तरीका. ये मीनिंग्स दे रखे हैं. Diction, grandiose imagery. Grandiose यानी कि अनावश्यक रूप से बहुत complicated और पेचीदा. Imagery यानी कि वो भाषा जिससे कि हमारे दिमाग में एक पिक्चर या एक चित्र उभरने लगे, ऐसी भाषा. ऑफ द एपिक जांग. जांग का मतलब है लिखने का एक तरीका जो जिसमें स्पेशल कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स होती हैं. ऑल दिस epicness makes the decidedly not so epic subject matter seem even lamer by comparison. lamer यानी कि कमज़ोर. ये महाकाव्य की जो गुण हैं, उन गुणों को इस पोएम में, मॉक हेरोइक पोएम में डालकर वो पूरी तरीके से व्यंग का इस्तेमाल कर रहे हैं. दिस आयरॉनिक जक्स्टापोजिशन, यानी कि दो विपरीत चीज़ों को पास में लाना, is the basis for the mock epic and one Dryden's main satirical techniques. Lines 1 to 4, Dryden opens the poem with an epically grandiose philosophical commentary. Of course, as we know, this is Macflecknoe. यानी कि शुरू की 4 पोइम्स में वो ऐसे बात करते जिसको एक महाकाव्य की शुरुआत कर रहे हैं. This mock epic heroic tone established in the opening lines ends up driving the rest of the poem. Allusions, यानी कि संकेत, literary and philosophical allusions. Welcome to the world of Macflecknoe, which contains more shout-outs than sense. यानी कि ऊंची आवाज़ में बोल रहे हैं लेकिन ज़्यादा बुद्धि की बात नहीं कर रहे. Dryden throws out numerous references to the classics, including to numerous Greek and Roman stories and myths and the Bible. His entire poetic style is a shout-out to the epic tradition, following in the footsteps of Homer, Virgil and Milton, while employing Chaucer's heroic couplets. Dryden does remind us of a few noteworthy names, including the great playwright Ben Jonson. But the name Dryden really wants us to remember is Thomas Shadwell. Dryden's arch rival यानी कि सबसे बड़ा प्रतिद्वंदी, fellow English poet and playwright, the unfortunate Shadwell is the butt of every joke in Macflecknoe. यानी कि वो व्यक्ति जिस पर जो मजाक का पात्र होता है, and the axis around which the entire poem revolves, वो केंद्र बिंदु है जिस पर पूरी पोएम, कौन? टॉमस शैडवेल, जिस पर पूरी पोएम बनी हुई है या लिखी हुई है. Dryden takes care to reference what seems like every piece of writing Shadwell ever produced and mock every one of his characters worth mentioning. Probably not the most flattering shout-out Shadwell could have hoped for. Themes of the poem. पहला है competition. A little bit of friendly competition never hurt anyone. Unfortunately for Thomas Shadwell, this was not a friendly competition. John Dryden tears into Shadwell with a vengeance in Macflecknoe, and by the end of the poem, the winner is obvious. Though Dryden makes a few jokes here and there at his own expense, it is clear that he has no need to actually proclaim himself the superior writer. The legacy of his work speaks for himself. Respect and reputation. Shadwell thought himself to be following in the footsteps of great playwright Ben Jonson. He even copied Jonson's style in many of his plays. Dryden wants to make it abundantly clear, यानी कि absolutely clear, that the words Shadwell and Jonson should never be uttered in the same sentence, यानी कि दोनों में कोई तुलना नहीं की जा सकती. From a historical perspective, it seems like Shadwell's biggest break came with Macflecknoe, but unfortunately for him, for the wrong reasons. Cunning and cleverness. Cunning and cleverness are Dryden's bread and butter. Macflecknoe would fall flat as merely an unconvincing critique without Dryden's wry wit and tremendous sense of poetic irony. He uses a satirical lens to completely destroy Shadwell, but in a way that elicits humor rather than pity. Satires depend on cunning and cleverness and to succeed, and Macflecknoe is certainly a success. Literature and writing. In many ways, Macflecknoe is not merely a critique of a single bad writer, but a contemporary on bad literature in general. Dryden, through his impeccable use of satire and irony, impeccable means perfect, uch, starka, points out the mistakes that bad writers make. Then, through his own terrific writing, he shows them to do it right. Much of the poem's strength comes from Dryden's appreciation and knowledge of the classics, especially the heroic epic style. Dryden still draws upon these past influences to create Macflecknoe, but instead of falling into trite, hackneyed patterns, he invents something ingenious, used about a thing or an idea, and wholly new. With this, we end the poem Shadwell by John Dryden. Thank you. Next, we will take up the second poem by Dryden prescribed for you, that is Alexander's Feast.